You are listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Looking to up your game in the bedroom? I've got something that will not only impress your partner, but make your orgasms feel better than ever. Introducing Popstar for bigger loads and better taste. The only doctor-developed organic, high-quality, and made in the USA volume and taste enhancer with hundreds of 5-star reviews. You will definitely be satisfied, or it's free with their money-back guarantee. Use code HornyHousewife for an extra 20% off your first order. Go to popstarlabs.com/hornyhousewife or search for Popstar Loads on Amazon. Welcome back to the Horny Housewife podcast. It's me, Jordan, your host. Another week, here we are. Happy Monday. We all survived the recent TikTok went away thing. We survived. It was 6 hours. That was embarrassing. There were people crying, sobbing on TikTok Live. Oh my God. And I'm like, you have like 8 million followers on Instagram. Shove your phone up your ass and zip it. I get it. We can't doom scroll till 2 a.m. and ignore our spouses anymore. Oh, and then it came back. America. So we got it back. Today, I want to talk about edging in today's intro. And you're like, wait, what? Edging? Usually I'm talking about edging in regards to how can a man last longer, right? Like a tool, an exercise that can build anticipation, that can, delay gratification. And as a result, we last longer, have a more powerful orgasm. But let's talk about the downside. You're like, what? To edge or not to edge? That is the question. Because I recently saw something on social media, and it was a man suggesting to other men when they're having intercourse to build it up, and then lay off. Tell her, you're not going to come until I tell you to. Which, if you are cheerfully submissive, if that is your jam, if that just got you tingly and wet, like, amazing. But there are girls who like the cheerfully submissive, dominant zaddy, but when they heard me just say that, they were like, that's not going to work for me because you build me up and you back off. We've also heard if she says don't stop, don't stop. You said it, don't stop. Because there's this possibility that the way our bodies work, some of us, is that you're going to build it up and hold off, and you're going to build it up and then hold off. And if we're saying don't stop and then you stop, we're actually thinking about like hitting you and like stabbing you a little bit maybe. And then we may have no orgasm or this little like what a build up for then like the ultimate letdown. Like every single person listening has had the orgasm where you're like, okay, is there a hole in my crotch? I just had to check because, oh my God. Hold on. There's not. My dog, side note, you're like, what are you talking about? My dog loves the pussy area of, I'm uncomfortable. Loves the pussy area of my jeans and just likes to snack on them. They're like, we immediately just saw you clench your pussy. Okay. Apologies. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there's lots of people who have experienced the build it up and then you're like that for that. Like what an underwhelming disappointment of an orgasm. So instead of just following all the advice that you get on every reel in TikTok, not for me though, not for me, because I'm always going to say, this isn't the final answer, final be-all opinion of what works. It's go find out. It's go test it. Go ask questions. Go try and go get feedback. So you may have a woman who is like, well, there are some times where him telling me he's going to tell me when to come just made everything that much hotter and that much more pleasurable. But then there are other times when I say don't stop, don't fucking stop. So It's not just this resounding one way. And edging for women, for some reason, I just don't see as beneficial. Kind of like porn. I think porn's great for women, not as great for men. Kill me. And if you want to fight about it, we can. And same with edging. I think that there's a time and a place. And I would love to hear from the men. Comment below if you're watching on YouTube. If you edge, and specifically if you're edging during the deed, do you ever notice that your orgasm is underwhelming? I would love to know that and love to find out. And ladies listening, have you ever been in a situation where it was put off, or God forbid, I don't know why, what is it about men thinking when she says, oh God, that feels so good, don't stop. And now you want to do like a round off back handspring with your tongue on her clit. Maybe we like did a little ego stroke and now he's feeling real good. Like, oh, fuck yeah. I don't know. You got excited, but it means you're doing everything right, and we literally don't want you to move. And guess what? There's a chance we can have multiple orgasms. And men, multi-orgasmic men, that's a book. That's a thing as well. Some of y'all have already read it. It's on my Audible. I started it. I haven't finished it. I felt like I should be a man reading the book and not a woman, but very interesting and very possible. What are your thoughts on edging? To edge or not to edge? I'm going to put that poll on my Instagram at THHpod. Go follow. Also, if you want to write a listener question, you can go to thehornyhousewifepodcast.com and submit a question truly anonymously. And we're about to dive into listener questions. And then today's topic of the hour, I took a poll on my Instagram and Ask Me Anything. Since THH is new on YouTube and we've got some new listeners, I figured we'd do a little, I called it Mommy Gets Vulnerable the last time I did this. And a lot of y'all really liked it. And some of y'all were like, bitch, we don't care about you. We want you to tell us what to do in our dead bedroom and or dysfunctional bedroom. But you're going to sit through it and you're going to make it. And you're going to like it and you're going to laugh. I love you. Let's get into it. Let me tell you about Via Hemp, everybody. If you're looking for the libido gummies of all libido gummies, or more so should I say, a gummy you would take prior to sexual relations, Via Hemp has the strain for you because we're mixing. Let me get up close, see if we can get a, ooh yeah, here we go. When we're talking libido enhancing cannabinoids and an aphrodisiac herbal blend, and then a medium dose of THC. Yeah. These are it. I've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of girls. No lie. Not really any men, but a lot of girls. Men, you like THC, so we're just gonna do it, and you want to get laid, so she's gonna have one. We're all gonna feel good. We're all gonna have fun. Okay. If you're not a THC fan, we've got all kinds. Let's see. I'll get the focus there. We've got the Zen. We've got THC free stuff. We've got mild, medium, high, a gummy for everything, tincture, topicals, flower, vape. Via Hemp has it all. Go to viahemp.com. Use my code HOUSEWIFE to get 15% off your purchase. Got to be 21 and up. Click the link in the episode description below or go to viahemp.com and use code HOUSEWIFE. Maybe you're a really sexy couple, exciting couple, wet couple, squirty couple, lots of lube couple, sweaty couple. Candle wax everywhere couple, massage wax, please. There's a difference. What you need is the Sunny Situations waterproof couples blanket. That baby has your back, literally. Your back, your front, your side, your right butt cheek, whatever it may be. And if you use my code HOUSEWIFE at the link in the episode description or sunnysituations.com, you will get 10% off your order. That is code HOUSEWIFE. Waterproof, 100% waterproof, machine washable, so soft, so luxurious. We love it. Sunnysituations.com, code HOUSEWIFE. Are y'all ready for listener questions? Are we ready? Oh, look at this one. From Jason Lowry at gmail.com. Free, clean, white, cock-a-doodle-doo. I added the doodle-doo. Call me. So if y'all want to call him, he's got a free, clean one. Not me. I don't want it. Okay, for real. First question. So, long story short, there of course is a backstory, but my husband is basically telling me I don't satisfy his needs. I asked what he wanted to do. He said he wanted to go back and forth from backside and vagina. I told him no, that I don't want an infection or whatever else, and he told me that's not true. That won't happen. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Can I put some poop up your pee hole, sir? He's basically threatening to leave me if I don't. We've been together 11 years, married 8 and have 4 kids. This is a new thing he's asking for. I almost think he could have a porn addiction. I don't even know how to respond. Holy shit. Okay. So I'm kind of thinking as a little bit of an asshole, because the whole like, I'm going to leave you unless you let me put that in your stink and then back in your pink. Just say you first. You first. Let me put something up your ass and then let me find some fecal matter and I'm going to take it with like a little bitty, one of those little suction dropper things that come with like a kid's science kit. And then we're going to stick that up your pee hole or maybe just rub it around the pee hole. And then I'm going to just like do this. And then I'm going to, fingers crossed, some bacteria gets in there. And then I hope you have the worst UTI of your life. And then you'll go, that's what it kind of would have felt like for me. But since we can't maybe do that, let me be a myth buster. All the OGs know that like I'm the dumb bitch that's going to be like, if you accidentally like put it in her vagina and then go to her butt, it's all good. But you know that there should be like a warning that pops up now. That's going to be like, don't listen to Jordan. Do not put a poopy dick in your pussy. So yeah, probably not recommended. Not probably. I know it's not doctor recommended, but I'm just saying that a lot of people have lived from it. Now, with that being said, that is not me saying like, just do it, girly, just do it. No, I don't like the way he's asking. I don't like his tone. I don't know where this came from, and I don't think it's bad that you want to ask. What's more concerning to me is the fact that this sex desire has become some sort of ultimatum, it sounds like, which just, I think, highlights that there is probably a plethora of other issues at hand. And, you know, maybe you want to go on the pewter and take a little look-see, peeksy. And to be not toxic and solution-oriented, I would say, you know, maybe it's time, unfortunately, for a conversation where you do validate his poopy desires and say, hey, I see your POV. You don't got a puss, McGuss. And you see this in porn all the time. And it's hot. And you know what? Toxic coming in. I actually looked up a video of what you were watching. I saw in the history and I watched it and I got really turned on and I touched myself to it. So I totally understand why you think that's hot because it got me going too. And let him get that. Don't touch me. Just kidding. And then you could say, but here's where I'm coming from. And I'm not against trying this, and this. And I would love if we actually had fun together so that we could organically have some freaky sex. If you had a point in your marriage, like recently, even if it wasn't recent, but I'm talking like a year ago, you were like, we were having good sex or like we were this. It's so possible. And there may be some underlying issue, need, things not being verbalized and articulated. And then as a result, resentment is building. And so it becomes this like short, having expectations of the other person while also having a negative internal dialogue about the person. So this is what I deserve, but this is what I know I'm going to get. So fuck this person, that kind of thing. And that is not putting out the right energy, and you're almost guaranteed to get back that negative that you assumed. Are you following? So, he does kind of sound like an asshole in all reality, and not knowing how to respond. I mean, I'll just validate you in that is a little astonishing. So I think there would be more to uncover. There's more layers that need to be peeled back, and maybe some harsh truths to be revealed. And when you ask, I'm going to be your sister and say, he may hurt your feelings. He sounds like the type that may hurt your feelings in this truth conversation. And I can see a man's frustration if they're constantly met with an unwilling, non-sexual, non-curious, in one ear, out the other, he's talking sexy, and now you make it like clinical. And I get it. The girls are like, but I will get a UTI. He sounds ignorant in that regards. So unfortunately, I don't have this, you just need to say this and then he'll get it. But I would try to play probably a little bit of a mind fuck if I was really trying to get him not to just view me as some like frump rule follower, which I know it's like, wait, you're telling me that I'm a rule follower because I don't want poop in my pussy? No, but I'm telling you how he may be perceiving you because of how he's responding and talking to you now. But say, dude, if this is an ultimatum, then good luck. You're going to have to be like hiring different bitches the rest of your life because good luck. Good luck. Won't be jealous of her. So I am pro-family, and I would love the backstory. You're going to have to give me the backstory. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. Question number 2. I'm 38. My wife is 34. We've been together for 8 years with a 2.5-year-old. I have a much higher sex drive. We only have sex about once or twice a week, and it always is the same place, same time, same positions, lights off, and brief. And I think this is a common thing. I want it all the time and everywhere. I love going down on her and never expect anything in return, but oral from her has gone from frequent early on in the relationship to maybe twice a year now. I know there's so many men going, preach, brother. I always try to make her feel special. Compliments, flowers, massages, and date nights. I got the Vim wand, you mean, and hoping to spice things up. But after 3 months, she won't even consider trying it. I hate to say this, but she won't even give the podcast a chance. But she does like audiobooks. Are there any books that you would recommend to help her, etc.? Are there any books? I mean, the thing is I truthfully am not a smut reader. I mean, I'm a smut reader. Like I read the smut to y'all on the Patreon, but I don't go pick up a smut book for myself, if that makes sense, to read and enjoy. When I'm reading the smut to y'all, am I enjoying it? I am. But it's just, I don't know. I like to read a lot, and those aren't the books that I'm grabbing. Maybe because I talk about sex a lot on here. So you can want and try and reach. And if you don't have any willingness on the other side, then I think you're going to keep coming up empty and feeling, even more disappointed. And then after so much disappointment, I know there's so many people relating right now, you just stop trying. You just stop trying. And it's sad because then there's this, I was always in the mood. I feel like the lower libido spouse is holding the key to our sex life. It's always on their terms. And then this like shift will happen where this person with the low libido realizes the high libido person has stopped pursuing them because of rejection. Now they feel shame. It's this like really ugly spiral. It's ugly. And so, you got to do something different or it's going to keep going in that direction. Now, you may never be in a position where you feel like y'all are the, simpatico. This is my twin sexual flame. You don't want to be married to your twin sexual flame. If you were married to a girl that wanted to fuck as much as you, she'd probably be cheating on you. I just said that, but I think so many people get caught up in wanting it to be matched when really if you had someone who matched that, you'd probably feel insecure and scared all the fucking time. Now, maybe if you were like an evolved, emotionally intelligent person, y'all would be two just little sexual free hippies in the world, but like, let's just be fucking real. Statistically, I don't think that's in your favor. So, IDK, my BFF Jill. But what you could do, something that my husband and I recently were talking about in therapy, and I know you said you were filling her love bank, and so you're like, what more do you want me to do? But the whole concept of the love bank, because life withdraws from our love bank. It depletes us, right? We emotionally get exhausted, physically, mentally, spiritually, all of it. And when we have like love deposits, when the person we love, our lover, our partner, deposits love in the ways that we feel love, I'll give examples here soon. Then when a withdrawal, when life comes, or when they do something where you like hate their fucking guts, or they give you the ick, or they piss you off, or you feel disconnected, you got something in the bank. You don't feel broke as a joke and emotionally starved. So you mentioned like you're doing all these things, but an activity for you both that you could do so you could get some clarity. Because for instance, like my husband cleaning the whole house, doing the dishes after dinner, that doesn't mean shit to me. It doesn't turn me on at all. If anything, it annoys me. And so there are some women who are like, you want to get in my pants? You clean the house, I'll be butt naked by the end. Do you get what I'm saying? And there are some women who, I think every woman loves flowers to be thought of, but some women are like, flowers die. And I mean, I get that too, but any gesture I think is sweet. But point is you can find out what they would consider like a caring act, something thoughtful, something that's a turn on, something that fills their love cup. You write a list, 10 to 20. It could be like when I get home and they give me a moment to decompress, when they call me to check in on me, physical touch, just my wife or my husband walking by me and putting their hand on me, or an ass slap walking by, or a hair caress, or when you kiss me, putting your hand on my neck when you kiss me. I'm going down the smutty book. She likes the books. Yeah, I need to get up against the wall and be like, Okay, maybe not. She might hit you, but maybe not. Maybe she'll, So not only are you going to get some clarification on what she enjoys, what she likes, you're showing her you care, and you're showing her yours. What I think is a great thing to do is a shared note on your iPhone. If you have an Android, I'm judging you. But yeah, if you have an iPhone, which everybody should, then you go on your notes, you add them as a collaborator, and so they can see when you update it, they can add, you can add. You can also check the Notes app to see if someone's cheating on you. This could be just a Gen Z thing, and I'm going off course. But do you know that people are having affairs in the Notes app? The more you know. I'm full of it. Keep asking me. Great way to talk to each other and like add and then have that and know it's there, whether it's like a gift list or their love language or thoughtful things, whatever. Okay, a date night idea, like where you want to go, a sex bucket list. It's cool. You can both add to it, both get an update when you add to it, etc. But now you're giving her an opportunity to see what fills your cup so she can be more intentional about it. And then when you're suggesting this idea, having the conversation of like, it's a new year and, I wrote out what's important to me, not necessarily resolutions if that's not y'all's jam, but to be like what I want to be intentional about. And something that landed on this list was my marriage. Explain to your wife how important she is to you, how important your family is to you. Validate her experience if she has a career, a job, at volunteers, fucking any of it. None of this comparison of what you do versus what she does. Just validate her experience. Because sometimes if we feel like someone's going through the motions and it's obligatory to receive something, it can take away from it. It doesn't feel genuine or authentic. And sometimes women are believing a lie that it's that to get something when it's not. So having the conversation of like, this isn't for personal gain and so that I can get my dick wet more. This is because truly at my core, and this takes an emotionally intelligent man to do this, putting your pride aside. Because this is your person and you're talking to a woman, I'm pretty sure, and she's gonna hear you, but it's gonna take you swallowing. I don't think it's setting your pride aside. I think it's a great man, but for some reason, some men really struggle to do this. But saying, this is not about getting my dick wet. This is because I love, honor, respect you. And I feel like we could be closer. Like this could be better. This dynamic could be better. We could have a better sex life. And from what I read and what I learned, the sex is an indicator of how the relationship is going and like what's going on and how close and connected we feel. And if it's like this and I feel like it's autopilot, which I don't want you to feel bad, it's kind of inevitable. And I'm trying to go the distance with you. And I think that means that we come to each other. And I know that you're growing and you're evolving and I grow and I evolve. And I want to be able to come to you and tell you things I like, that I don't like, that I might like, that I am curious about, and being a safe space for one another. But you going to her and being vulnerable and sharing where you're coming from, sharing your concerns or fears around what if we don't achieve this, or what if we don't get this back, or like what can I do to better understand you, see you, etc. That can diffuse a lot of like resentment and assumptions and negative self-talk about yourself or the other. The power of talking about the sex is so greatly underused, taken for granted, not seen. So I think that's your next best step is daddy gets vulnerable. Instead of like just coming at it with a Vim wand. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you get her in a position where she feels emotionally safe with you, she'll begin to blossom. A woman who feels emotionally safe or seen is a woman who has more orgasms, is a woman who spread her legs more, is a woman who is willing and eager. Best believe that. I stand by that. Next question. Today's episode is brought to you by Popstar. You want a bigger load? I've definitely gotten a listener question where they're like, I'd really love a bigger load. Do girls care about bigger loads? I want a bigger load. A bigger load is desired by the guys, okay? You want a bigger load? You want better taste? You know who wants the better taste? She does. She wants it to taste better. And you're like, I don't want to change my entire diet. Popstar, baby. Popstar. Doctor developed, clean, good ingredients that actually promote good semen health overall. So we're not only enhancing the taste, increasing the volume, but we're doing something good for our body as well. Go to popstarlabs.com and enter code HornyHousewife to save some money. Click the link in the episode notes or go to popstarlabs.com and enter code HornyHousewife. If you don't know what Blue Chew is, you live under a rock, but I'll tell you anyways. It's an online prescription service that offers the same active ingredients that are in Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable, that's right, chewable form. So if you've been straddling the fence about it, one foot in one, should I try it? You could be missing out on the best sex of your life, not just for the EDs, okay? The ED boys. This is for like the pre-workout of performance, in my opinion. Just my opinion. But like maybe you want to go multiple rounds. Maybe you want to give her that blue chew dick. You know what I'm saying? That, harder, longer, let's go. Lasting impression. That's what we need that sometimes. If you haven't laid it down like that recently, this is for you. And you can try 1 month free, get your first month supply free using code HOUSEWIFE at checkout at bluechew.com. Or just click the link in the episode description below, bluechew.com, code HOUSEWIFE. I really enjoy the podcast. Question, I consider EMFs to be harmful. Does having a WeVibe a remote control vibrator next to a lady's uterus on a regular basis affect fertility? That being said, everyone carries their phone in their pockets all day. I'm answering this because I just wanted to give a few remarks, not because I have the credentials to answer this question. I'm not knowledgeable enough on the topic. I will tell you what a WeVibe is. It's a great couples toy. And why I chose to respond was because I wanted to get to that last point. Everyone carries phones in their pockets all day. So why the fuck are we talking about EMFs from a sex toy? What I do care about is like what I'm putting inside of my body, what things are made of, like lube, like stuff that's like free balling everywhere. Am I super freaky picky about like, oh, the EMFs from my WeVibe syncing to my phone? Meh. If you were living with that bitch inside of you, but we got way more to worry about with our phones, with lots and lots and lots and lots of other things, radiation that we receive from all kinds of things, blue light, all of it. We could go down that rabbit hole while we're eating, while we're smoking, while we're drinking. It's all killing us. Okay, so let's have a few orgasms. Let's not take out the stuff that brings us pleasure, okay? Because this is actually kind of bad for us, okay? It's like fucking up a bunch of shit. So don't sleep with your phone under your pillow, but put the dildo that hooks up to your phone inside of you. I'm for that one, to be completely honest. Okay. Last question, last but certainly not least. It's a doozy. Okay. I've been with my husband 13 years. We live very hectic lives with kids and sports, work, etc. The last couple years, my mother-in-law lived with us. I felt our sex life suffered from her living with us. Lately, I've noticed my husband watching more and more porn, and it's driving me crazy. We're having less sex. I've asked him before, why don't we just have sex when I'm willing? He doesn't know I found the porn, but know he's watching it at least twice a week. It bothers me, simple fact, because why are we not having sex, but you're masturbating? Should I be getting upset as I am about this, or am I being too much worrying about it? No. I definitely feel lost because it will be months, then we go without sex. But again, it seems like he's masturbating and watching porn at least twice a week. Help. I think your feelings are totally valid. And I would definitely have a problem if my husband was doing the same thing. Definitely. I would be pissed. That would be when porn gotta go. So do not feel bad whatsoever about being upset, feeling not chosen, betrayed even. Like, I think it is just, sorry guys, just messed up, because while I think there is a time and a place for porn, how porn can be great foreplay, something to watch together, something to help you with overcome other sexual obstacles solo, individually. Not saying it only needs to be used together, but I always reference that episode, Porn, the Good, the Bad, the Ugly. If porn is becoming destructive, if it is hurting your relationship in any regard, that is when you know, pump the brakes. It's time to course correct and get a true assessment of what's going on in our relationship. Now, the thing is he may be embarrassed. He may be unaware, but he may also be embarrassed. He may be desensitized to where he's like, shit, like I've gotten in a bad habit, basically. And I know you don't want to call him out. And I have some mildly toxic, like petty girl power, like be a sexy bitch, keeping him on his toes advice. That is like probably not what a therapist would recommend at all. But I also have some like healthy solutions as well. So let's start with what my psycho ass would do. You should video yourself getting off by yourself to porn and sending it to him and saying, yeah, that was fun. I can see why you do it, but I really miss the feeling of you inside of me, or the feeling of fullness with your dick in me, like something like dirty like that. And maybe have him be like, what the fuck am I doing, dude? I need to go fuck my wife. So that's like me, putting expectations in my head and like me playing a scenario and like, this is how it should go. And then guess what? When that doesn't happen, I'm like, fuck the world. So maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you don't, but kind of sounds like a fun idea and experiment as well. But you could do that little toxic thing I said, and then that lead into a conversation. If you know right off the bat, you're like, that would actually like piss him off, then don't do it. But if you're like, then maybe you should. But I would also, if I were you, call it out. I'd leave it on the screen. I would put it on the home computer and be like, can you go check this? And then it'd be on the screen on play, loud. But don't do that if you have kids. You could bring it up and say, hey, you know what? I saw this. I was actually trying to go back. Lie. I was trying to go back and look for something I had searched, and I saw that you'd been watching porn. Or actually, you can be honest and go, we haven't been fucking as much, and I don't know if you think I think this is cool or jivey, or I'm just okay with it, and maybe my silence has said that to you, but I'm here to tell you right now, it's not. And you being quiet, by the way, dear sweet sissy listener, isn't doing you any favors. It's not doing you any favors, and you could be affirming some BS narrative that he has in his head. Porn could have been the easier thing. His mom is in the house. Maybe he's not, excited about porking you with her in the next room and her hearing. I don't know. Maybe he's got some little fetish, kink, visual stimulation that's got him, and he has succumbed to that desire. And maybe if he was called out, he might check himself before he wreck himself. And you might want to say that. You might want to go, hey, I think we need to course correct. I think you need to take a beat, not beat off, take a beat on the porn and fuck me. Because I want to be fucked. So I think reminding him that you have sexual needs as well. And he may have the fear, like, oh no, well, what if I can't get hard for her? And you're thinking, what, bitch? What do you mean it can't get hard for me? Well, if you listen to that episode, men can get visually desensitized, and then they get in their head, and then the desensitization, that habit, along with now the, okay, I gotta perform, I gotta do this, I gotta be a man, I gotta fix it, that can take all that blood flow from here, cortisol, stress. So it's tricky. You're going to want to be patient with him. You're going to want to be understanding. I know you don't feel like being understanding, but you're going to want to vocalize to him that you have felt dismissed, discarded in a sense, and that it's time to start picking, you want a virtual bitch or a real bitch, a real woman or a virtual woman, pardon me. And if he's going to pick the internet, like, you know what I mean? And you don't have to shame his porn use. And it doesn't sound like you have. It sounds like you've been like too chill. So it's time to be not as chill, which in turn is also letting him know you care. If he has no idea and he's in the dark, you know what I mean? He may know damn well that this isn't serving his marriage or sex life, but he's going to need to be told and explained, hey, this is actually like very, very common that men will start doing this, and then it kind of like ruins their sex life, babe. And I get it, like seeing a new beautiful body each time, seeing this like cool, crazy, wild, unrealistic sometimes sex, and then you go to me, we've been together a long time, you've seen me naked, and I feel hurt. And I feel like, you're watering the wrong plant. You're watering the Pornhub plant. And I'm about to throw that fucking ugly ass bush out the fucking window. So water mommy if you want mommy to grow and her legs to spread. And I hope that he is smart enough where he's like, you're right. And it's not forever. He can literally like withdraw from what he's doing and get back on course. Blue chew it up in the meantime. Take the performance aspect out of it and get to fucking again. Get it going. And I'm going to stand by my mildly toxic advice of sending him a video of you solo pleasuring yourself, because I think that could be, a great visual inspiration that he's been looking for. That's not right in front of his face. And you two make your own little porn. What about that? You're welcome. If you're listening and you want to write in, you can write in at thehornyhousewifepodcast.com. Submit something under the Ask Anonymous tab. I almost brain farted there for a second. Or you can DM me on Instagram at THHpod. If you are looking for audio erotica, bonus episodes, the Susan Bratton interview in video form, only told you a million times, go over to the Patreon, and that link will be in the episode notes as well. Let's get into today's Ask Me Anything. If you're looking for a gift to get your loved one this Valentine's Day, I recommend the Perineum Massager by Butter Wellness. So not only is this the only device designed to externally stimulate the G-spot, the taint, the gooch, but it's made with men in mind. But because it vibrates, 10 settings, waterproof, chef's kiss. Ladies, if you're using it on your man with giving a BJ, just applying down there for a missionary, go ahead and take that bad boy and reach around and give yourself some love too. A gift for him, a gift for you. Go to butterwellness.com and use code HOUSEWIFE when you check out to save 30% on your purchase. Or just click the link in the episode description below. Butterwellness.com, code HOUSEWIFE. Kicking off Mommy Gets Vulnerable. First question you asked was, how did you meet your husband? We love that story. Tell us how you met Daddy D. Tell you how you met Daddy D. Okay, Daddy D, I met in Portland, Oregon after the third day of living here. My ex-boyfriend's going to be like, excuse me, bitch. He's not listening. But I did have a boyfriend at the time. It was not overlapping at all. Didn't even see my husband in that light. It wasn't like, ooh, not at all. That collapsed 22 days after moving here. Found out he was a pathological liar. And so, I was single and my whole life, not by choice. I pretend like I always stay single for like at least a year after a relationship to heal. No, it's because nobody fucking wants me. So I have never, I have some girly pops, friends, lovers that, when they leave a relationship or when they know they're leaving, which I was blindsided, They got a roster. They got people in line. They're getting attention. They're like, I'm ready. I'm coming out. And it's not like that for me. I wish it was. But no, I was devastado. I was on the floor. It was bad. And I was in an apartment that I thought we were splitting rent in, and we weren't, and I couldn't afford that. Anywho, I was left in a new city, and I've lived in a new city by myself before. I born and raised in Texas. I moved to Nashville all by myself. Ran away after a breakup, if you can't see a theme. She's a runner, she's a track star. And so I ran my little ass to Nashville all by myself. I'll never forget my dad and my brother dropping me off and then leaving my car and that U-Haul and headed back to Texas. And I just sat there and I wept. Because what am I going to do? And I walked my ass to a restaurant and I applied for a job to be a server. I was 23 years old. And then I tried cocaine for the first time. And so, yeah, the things we do when we're young. I think I can talk like that about, over a decade ago. So it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. And anyways, I met my husband here. And then, after the breakup, I think 2 weeks later, I know this is so not like me. I went to someone's birthday from the office. And I knew he was going to be there. And I was telling my boss, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna, give Derek googly eyes, not the ones I just did there. I'm going to give Derek googly. But they're like, no way. There's no way. He's not you're an employee. Like if you worked at the other office, yeah, he'd fuck around with you, but he's not going to touch you with a 10-foot pole. And I'm like, watch the pole. Look up. Just kidding. Watch. So now it was a challenge, and he came, and I think he bought everyone a shot of Fireball or something at the table, and then he went to go play video poker, and I stood by him, and I'm like, can I play? And if I win, I keep the money. And so we did that, and then one thing led to another, and I think I was back at his house. So that was very unprofessional and anti-HR, but to my defense, we are married with kids, okay? And I've been here for a decade now. So while everyone thought, people just thought, they just thought I was trying to do something. But really, that was the first guy who I could see coming in the door and, honey, I'm home. It was just this familiar feeling. And I just knew, I knew. That sounds so corny and so cliche, but I had never dated someone and you're like so soon you just kind of know, I'm going to be with this person for a long time. So yeah, so that's how I met him. Boss's boss. It kind of got out. We had to keep it secret. It was all a secret. This wasn't oh, look at Derek and Jordan. It was a secret. And then one day he was the boss, the boss. And he had scheduled time off Monday because he was going to Vegas. Well, then guess who? He invited me to Vegas. So I go to Vegas. So I'm not at work on Monday. So we're both not at work Monday. And there was kind of rumors swirling because, I fuck up any chance I got. And, then HR called me in and I had to quit my job basically. And it was him or your job. And I picked Daddy D and here I am. What a move. And statistically, that won't happen to you. So don't talk yourself into that shit. If you think you're the exception to the rule, you're not. Wouldn't suggest, don't recommend. We beat the odds. Okay, next question. Threesome or adding another woman to the bedroom? Thoughts on it? Well, my thoughts are to each their own. I think couples that are in a rut or in a funk or need to evolve or what the fuck are we doing? Or bleh, doesn't come from a good place. It's not you're a firm, solid couple that, became empty nesters and are what now? And our love is so strong and trust and we both want to experience this. And so how do we do that? I mean, that's a different approach than fuck this. Like, let's try this because this isn't working. Or like, you won't shut up about it. Fine. It just doesn't seem like that's going to end well, bode well, go over well for one or both. For me and I'm a right now girl. I cannot predict the future. I do not know the future. And I will never say never. But I know right now, like, that ain't fucking happening in my marriage. So we can talk about it all day long. We can pretend, we can watch, we can tell dirty stories, but I don't want to go to jail for murder right now. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's happening right now, and that's okay. I think jealousy is a normal emotion. I think it's totally okay to not want to share. And I also think the people that are like, love isn't possessive, like, y'all are cooler, and y'all are cooler. Y'all are cooler. Y'all are cooler. Great. Cool. And as long as both of y'all think that, perfect. Everyone's jealous. Not everyone, but a lot of people are. And as far as like being a swinger, when people ask me that, which I didn't get that question, but like, oh, would you ever swing? I don't want to offend, because I know there are swingers that listen to my show. And I even interviewed the swing couple, awesome, cool people who are like so like good people. And that's their lifestyle. My hair keeps sticking to my lip gloss. But for me, Jordan, have never seen a swinger couple that I've ever been attracted to. And like, that's not why. It's because my husband and I both want to be in a monogamous relationship. But I just wanted to bring up that, like, it's not just like a bunch of hot people everywhere having an orgy or like swapping. Like, you hear all the times, if you get on that algorithm, they're like, it's very, 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 very rare where both like the couple is equally attracted to the other couple. Usually one person's more into it than the other, and they're just like going along. Fuck that. But I have never seen a hot man in a swinging relationship. Never. They're all butt ugly. And if you're listening and are like, I am a swinger and I think I'm attractive, then great. Then you probably are. I'm just telling you that the ones that I see that have told me, because Derek and I will be on vacation and we'll meet people and they're like, yeah, we're in the lifestyle. I'm like, do we give off that vibe? Because we don't go flirt with other people. I'm social, but I'm not Googling, flirting, anything like that with other people. Neither is my husband. He knows better. But for some reason, just drawn to me or something. I love your podcast. Do you think the romantic rut after kids is a different time frame for different couples? Yes, 100%. 100%. I was just thinking, I was like, dude, Derek and I went on a date night every week. After we had Hudson, like at the 3-month mark, every week we were going on a date. It was easy. And you think it's hard, but it was like he was a potato. You had to like feed him, change his poop, rock him, comfort him, repeat. Just place him down. He wasn't going to run away. That was the easiest thing to keep alive, the potato baby. It's when they start walking and talking, you're like, we're fucked. So yeah, I think it's totally depending on the couple, how many kids you have. Are you a new parent? Are you not? Do you work? Do you not? Like, when that parent romantic rut hits you, you don't know. Your kid could be 5. You could have made it great. I always tell couples, if you can make it through the first 18 months, you can make it through anything. And I said that when my child was 19 months. And now my kid's 7. And I'm like, if you can just make it to like 10, right? Till they're 10. So who knows? Who fucking knows? Favorite sex positions. Missionary, underrated, baby. And not to be a pillow princess, but because there's access to so much from me. I mean, there's so many ways to do missionary. It's underrated. The kissing, groping, anal sex in missionary, using a toy, in between missionary, leg up missionary, legs here missionary, some way, style, a diversified missionary. I also think doggy, there's a variety of doggies that are great too. So I love them all. I love them all. But as far as which position do I think women orgasm the most in, where like it's the man helping you get there, not you on your own, the girls know, missionary. Because if I get off from doggy, that's because I got myself there. Jordy cakes. So, missionary. And there is nothing wrong with that. Here we go. How did you get the podcast started? Like, how did that even begin? Basically, it was 2021. It was actually 2020, December 2020. Does anybody know that? I always consider it starting January 2021, but there was like one episode released in December of 2020. I think we all lost our mind in COVID, and it gave me this like delusional false confidence. And I've always been that way. I've always been kind of entrepreneurial in a way as well. I've tried lots of things and started many things. And then, the podcast, I listened to so many and I kept going, why is there no podcast where someone's talking about married sex, like real talk, like in the real way, like straight up? Because I'm hearing all these podcasts that are so funny to me that I love these girls. They're hilarious, but they're dating or they're like, telling me about their roster or their hookups or this or how to get him to marry you. Like, all these things that I no longer related to. Been there, done that, biatch, drugs. Like that chapter's behind me. I lived through it. And so I was like, I can create this. I have the gift of gab. I'm going to do this. And my mom had died and I was having like an identity crisis and was like, should I get my real estate license? And I started a podcast instead. So you're welcome. Next question. Best pregnancy sexy time tips, please. Our first is on the way and want to keep intimacy at 100. Okay. If you're the pregnant one, ladies listening, you're going to go to the lengths of even brainwashing yourself to believe that you are fucking sexy. And yeah, at month 8, I felt like a whale a little bit, like a whale. And I mean, we had sex literally up until like the last 3 weeks. And I was 2 weeks early. Actively at least every week having sex while I was pregnant. And the thing is I was fortunate that I had a husband who is aroused and turned on by the fact that I'm carrying his child. God bless America. Because there are different types of men. There are men who get erections thinking about she is with child from my king sperm, something like that. And they like just still want to fuck. And it's like a different kind of fuck, but it's still like, it's a season, right? So it's not like they constantly have a pregnant woman. I mean, some of them do and like that. I'm not going to touch that topic with the 10-foot pole. But anyways, and then there are other men who are like the Tristan Thompsons of the world. The men, and there's lots of these too, that's when they fuck up and cheat and fuck them. Because that is so low and so like low vibe and like weak and losery. That's like a loser. It's a loser. If you're listening on the audio, that tapping is the L hitting my head. Okay? Sometimes when I have road rage, I don't flip them off because like, fuck you. I drive past and I hit him with one of these. That's what I do. I hit him with one of these. For some reason, it just feels like it's a deeper cut, which is, I'm in therapy. So, let's do one more. Okay, last one. I'm going to do one more. How has your sex life evolved since starting the podcast? the podcast has definitely impacted my sex life. And probably if my husband was sitting right here, he'd be like, no, or he'd be like, I don't know, but he would probably say yes to the knowledge part, but not like the way I do it. Does that make sense? I think it's made me more curious and explorative. And now I know how to approach him and ask questions, and like all the homework and like educated courses I take, whether it's something I'm interested in or just doing it for the sole purpose to like retain the knowledge so I can have a conversation about it with you. But it has made me see sex and intimacy different. Literally learning about tantra like opened up a new level of like what I desired in my sex life, of like wanting like a closeness and like an energy there. And you can't just like expect someone to match that because you want that if they are ignorant to the topic. But it made me aware of so much more during sex. And one of the biggest takeaways for me is now that I've learned like more about mindfulness, not just in life and intention and what I'm doing, but in the bedroom, that's a big game changer sex-wise, because I'm able to experience so much more pleasure, or like I know like I can take charge of my orgasm and accountability for it, and I'm not afraid to ask for what I want as much and advocate for myself, which has resulted in better sex. I'm not afraid. I mean, I've never been afraid to ask a lot of questions and be like prying, but I do that. I mean, I make sure we're on the up and up, and like, I'm a safe space for you and you can come to me. And I might be like, ew, but he's never made me say ew. I might, we're humans and we can like save space for each other being humans and talk about it. But when I get in my head, whenever we're having sex, because I'm a mom and I'm stressed and I work and I, am keeping people alive and stuff and making sure everyone gets here and gets there and has this appointment and has this done and this is going to get done and blah, 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 you know what I mean? And that can weigh on you, and they can all get on my nerves too. They can all get on my fucking nerves too. So being mindful and like switching gears and practicing what I preach. And sometimes like I do not practice what I preach, and then I feel guilty and so I love you. This was fun. Next week, back to our regular programming, where we talk about your problems and what you can do to level it up, or just talk a little shishi. And yeah, I will see you all next week. Make sure you subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, share, send a text, give me 5 stars, and write a review. Helps me so much. Love you.